Waterford United. Joanne Cantwell reports.
The Daisha, Port Larga. When you think of Waterford, what is it that comes to mind?
Crystal.
The Glass Factory.
Reginald's Tower.
Reginald's Tower.
And when you think about sport in Waterford, you get the same answer.
Hurling, of course.
The hurling team. Waterford hurling.
Hurling, of course.
Hurling? Well, almost.
Waterford United are playing tonight against Pats.
So tonight it's the town soccer team that takes centre stage, and they face St Patrick's Athletic in a repeat of the 1980 Cup final, a game of which Waterford fan Owen Tubbritt has some fond memories.
Great atmosphere at Dalymount and a tremendous support from Waterford.
Roughly 12,000 Waterford fans that packed into Dalymount Park that afternoon, and everybody was squashed on the terraces. I remember there was only the one stand in Dalymount at the time. There's the two up there now. There's only one stand at Dalymount at the time, the main stand, and we were standing to the left of the main stand, and everybody was crammed in jammers, and everybody had the hats and the colour on them, and the roars and the cheers when the teams came out on the pitch was definitely a big memory.
Jackie Jamieson, the star front player, has yet to score in the cup.
That was dubbed "Could we stop Jackie?" You know, and that was sensed down here. We were hopeful that Peter Thomas was going to have a great game. We had a great back four. Dunphy was there, Alpha Nucleum was there, Gerald Manny was there. So we felt that these players could mark Jackie Jamieson and mark him out of the game and not give him that half chance that Jamieson needed.
Jamieson almost caught Waterford.
It's the way it happens in soccer, isn't it? There's always situations that are questionable in the end, you know what I mean, in every game, and that's the way soccer is. But when you get a chance like that, you have to make sure you take it, and Brian Gardner definitely took that chance and took it well.
Jamieson to Higgins. And Thomas has to show his class.
Peter was a great keeper. He's an outstanding keeper and always performed for Waterford in every game he played. I think Peter felt that he had something to prove after the previous year as well against Dundalk. He left in 2 soft goals in his opinion, so he had something to prove, so he was going to make that his final if he could. It was probably the 12,000 Waterford fans that kept the ball out of the goal in the end, really, you know. Peter Thomas was there with the hands, but with all the players cheering and that. But it was held on the terraces every time the Pats came forward, every time there was a cross in the box, every time there was a shot, there was oohs and ahs, and you were looking and saying, no, not this time, and kept out. And the 45 minutes were probably one of the longest 45 minutes of your life. The whole build-up to that, to the week, was all the build-up was about Alpha Newton going up and lifting that cup and getting that cup over his head and showing it to all the Waterford fans that were in Dalymount Park that afternoon. When he lifted that cup up, the whole of Waterford went berserk and started screaming and roaring. We had done it at last.
But they haven't done it since. St Pat's have had to wait even longer for their last cup win, 48 years. So it hasn't been easy for either sets of fans in this competition. Waterford had been lacklustre in the First Division recently as well, but after 2 scoreless draws and defeat to UCD, they started brightly against Pats. Willie John Kindly went close early on. Pats should have paid closer attention to the striker. After 17 minutes, he began a move that proved fruitful. Stephen Grant played his part too, but it was Kiley who provided the lethal finish. Waterford United ahead and the home crowd in raptures. And what an impressive way to open the scoring. Pats and Alan Cawley tried to hit back, and only the woodwork stopped them. But still at the other end, Kiley was continuing to prove a handful. And he nearly snuck in for a second. It was encouraging for the home fans, but they did have to endure some nervy moments, like when Ryan Guy picked out Gary Dempsey, but his shot just crept outside the post. So Waterford held on to their slender lead for half-time.
But it looks like again, we don't need to hold on to it. We looks like here we're going to double on the lead, if not 2 or 3. So, you know what I mean, we could keep going and we could have won this game by more than 1 goal, it looks like tonight.
Pats had other ideas and created more in the second half. Guy becoming more influential, and Stephen Marr gave Dempsey another chance. This was relatively easy for Michael Devine. Still, the unease persisted for the hosts. The second half was only 5 minutes old when Damien Lynch made Devine work harder, and the keeper had to scramble to beat Glenn Fitzpatrick. Waterford carved an opportunity of their own to put this one beyond their visitors, but after making the most of the space Pats had kindly provided, Graham Cummins couldn't keep his shot down. And so, despite that encouraging sign from the First Division outfit, it was their Premier rivals who managed to break through with 20 minutes to go. Bobby Ryan's high ball into the box was pushed down to Mark Leach, and though Waterford managed to stop him, they could do nothing about the waiting Dempsey. Pats were a lot happier about the whole thing, although they nearly conceded a late winner to Alan Carey. So there was to be no blue fairy tale ending to this one, but they do get a chance to try all over again. The final score from the RSC, Waterford United 1, St Patrick's Athletic 1.
As expected, Pats came out in the second half and really had a go. Well, it's the lifeline in the cup, so they really had a go at us. We conceded a scrappy goal.
It didn't look to me there, Colin Foley, as if they were in different divisions, Waterford and St Pat's, which I think is a credit to Waterford.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it was a tough game for Pats. Looking at Waterford, they're one of the top 4 teams in the First Division, and they're flying high. I think they've only, I think they're unbeaten in the last 10 games, or they've lost 1 in 10 games in the last 10 games. So it would have been a difficult prospect for St Pat's going down, especially that they're not scoring goals lately, St Pat's, and Waterford, their defence is very strong. They've only conceded 12 goals. So I think Stephen Henderson, looking back on it, would be disappointed because they took the lead and probably would have wanted to keep the lead, especially with Pat struggling to score so much.
Is this the same Pat's team though that we saw against Stoke Bucharest and all the other European games where they were performing at such a high level and then struggling in the RSC?
It doesn't look like it, to be honest. I think Pats seem to struggle against teams that